Welcome to No Excuses. My name is Mary Fran, and this is my place to talk about a little bit of everything. And today we're going to talk about the books that I read last week. I read 3 books. The first book I read, I actually already talked about, so let me go ahead and put that clip in here. So the first book I read for the week was actually called A Boy in Striped Pajamas. This book was actually recommended by one of you. I believe it was Sandy. I immediately went to the library, picked it up, got it on my iPad, and everything was good. And moved on. Finally got around to reading it. One of the first things I noticed when I started reading this book was it was written by the same author as the book The Boy at the Top of the Mountain, which I actually ranked very, very high, and I actually said when I did the review for that it might be my all-time favorite for the year. So I started reading this book and I was actually pretty darn excited because I'm like, yeah. And I read it, and it is about a young boy whose father is a commandant in the German Nazi regime. Father gets moved to command. The father gets moved to command Auschwitz. And so he moves his family to a house that's right outside of the gates and the fences. And this boy doesn't really understand what's happening there. He sees all these people in striped pajamas, but he doesn't understand why he can't go over there, why he can't go play with the kids, why. And through it all, he ends up meeting a young boy who is on the other side of the fence because they meet on the other side of the fence way far away. I did struggle a little bit because I'm like, I don't think that would have happened, but you never know. And things happen, and eventually the fence was actually loose, and the young boy from the outside slipped in. And not going to ruin the story for you, but it's very, very rough. It's very rough. I put the book down. When I finished it, I put the book down and I looked at Jason. I said, that was so traumatic. It's traumatic. It was a good book. I would highly recommend it. Be forewarned that the ending is not going to be what you expect from a book. It really does put into perspective what happened during the Holocaust. I was a little bothered by myself because I was more worried about this little boy who was not a Jew than I was about all of the Jews that were in Auschwitz. It made me really think about that. Have I become jaded to what happened? I don't know. It was horrible, and I'm not saying it was anything but horrible, but read the book. Read the book and let me know. Anyway, that's the first book. Book number 2 was The Medicine Woman from Galveston. This book was actually really good. It was about a lady doctor who had some personal problems, and she ended up working for a medicine show, one of these quacks, one of these, people that were selling fake medicine. And she started working for it, and it went against the grain of her whole ethical being, but she had to do it. She was forced. It's actually a really good book. It talks about the whole medicine man and the whole medicine show that went on in the turn of the century, which I find interesting because I've always been interested in the old medicine bottles that were full of quackery. I mean, people that were taking this medicine and saying, man, it makes me feel good. When I don't take it, I feel horrible. Well, of course, because it was morphine, it was cocaine, it was really crazy, crazy things that they were taking. So I've always been interested in that. So this was a really neat book. This was a really neat look at inside the medicine shows. It was a good book because it had a little bit of a love interest. It had a little bit of history. It was just a good book. Yeah. A very high 3, maybe even a 4. And that's a good high compliment for me. Last book I read was The Answer Is No. This is one of Prime Read's first picks. It was a short story, and it was really, really odd. It's about a recluse that was in his house, and he always said no, he was not doing this, and he got kind of sucked into life, and it was just really, really odd. I found it very hard to read because he didn't talk about the neighbors in terms of neighbors, the lady in the purple dress, the lady in the green shirt, and it was hard to keep him straight for me. I don't know. Anyway, those are the 3 books that I read. The Medicine Doctor from Galveston, high 3, maybe even a 4. The Answer Is No, probably a 2. And The Boy in Striped Pajamas, that would probably be a 4 also. I'm going to rank that one up really high again because it was just really, really good. Yanked my emotions, which is a good thing. Made me think, which is a good thing. Anyway, have you read any of these? Let me know if you have. And if you want to read them, the links are in the description below. No excuses.